Hi everyone, it is Cyberburst and welcome back to another episode of Boom Beach. We're jumping straight into a heavy Zucca attack. This episode is going to be all about the heavy Zucca attack replays. As you guys can see, I'm starting by focusing onto the shock launcher at first, because I saw at the right side there's a shock launcher and upgrading. This base actually seemed pretty easy to take out, so let's actually see how well we did. Going for the right side, actually going for that rocket launcher over there as well. Almost got it wiped out. Then over there at the left side, same story. Taking it out with the barrage, and then I felt comfortable enough to actually go for it. Dropping my heavies first, then my Zookas of course, going in for the flamethrower. Then as you guys can see over here, you have the ability to shock the boom cannon and the rocket launcher at the same time, which is pretty nice. Decided to drop some critics in there because of the mines. I don't know if that was the best tactic to do, but I kind of felt comfortable doing it that way. There's a lot of mines in the center there, so that might be an issue there. Whenever the heavy is going to be spreading out and then the Zookas come in a little bit later, that might cause us our death there. But you know, we're just gonna see how this one's gonna be going. The focus is a little bit more at the left side of the base. As you guys can see, the critters over there took out the boom cannon basically at the left side. The rest of my units take out the boom cannon as well. Then making my way to the center of the base, going for some additional gunboat energy. Also a little bit later, and I want to tell you guys this in advance, I did exchange a statue of defense for an ice statue for defense for a statue of gunboat energy, 16%. So a little bit later you guys will be able to see me having more gunboat energy than I had before. As you guys can see, some critters took out the mines in the center there, and then we go straight for the headquarters with having one heavy to spare. It was a very nice attack, and that being said, let's go to the next one. Alright, so this next base you may recognize from the episode that I did with my girlfriend. This is the exact same base. I kind of wanted to try a different approach, a more logical approach on taking down this base. But the funny thing is, I don't know if I almost failed, but it kind of looked like it. So we take out the shock launcher at the right side. I don't know if that was the best tactic to go, because I could have just potentially shocked it alongside with another boom cannon, so that might have been the best course of action. But as you guys can see, I'm a little bit intimidated by this shock blast over here, because it's actually pretty strong. It's a level 3 one, definitely take that into consideration. So I'm kind of thinking here, what should I do? Let's speed up to 2 times the speed, 4 times the speed, nothing. Okay, here we go. So the heavies come in first, decide to go from the right side there. There's a shock launcher alongside with 2 cannons and the boom cannon that I'm shocking. It's actually the perfect ideal location for a shock in this situation. There is a shock launcher over that left side that's kind of attacking us. Then over here you also have the rocket launcher and the shock blaster. Decided to shock the entire pack, so that way I don't really have to take that into consideration. Let's see what's happening here. The heavy seem to be in perfectly fine condition. Keeping the left side shocked. Was a little bit too early with it, but that is gonna be okay. Flamethrower starts to hit pretty hard onto my heavies. Decide to get some critters in there. Little did I know that flamethrower over there actually did do some damage, so I re-dropped some critters over there at the left side. Right now the focus of the shock launch is totally shifted away from my units, right on the shock blaster as well. So I basically got free play, but take a look at this. All of my heavies are basically gone. There's just a couple of there in the front being terminated over there. Luckily for me, the rocket launcher was kind of focusing on this one over here, and that's how we take out this base from the big fat guy or something. I don't even know what his name is anymore. It just says that it was a replay for me. So we took this base down. It was a very nice defense. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this next base was against a level 55 one. This was actually, I believe, the easiest attack to do, because everything was relatively spread out. I kind of need to focus more on the left side. I don't recall exactly, because it's been a couple of hours ago, if it went from the right side or the left side. We'll just see about how this one actually went. I took out the rocket launcher at the left side. Decided to focus on the shock launcher, because I saw there were a couple of other buildings around it as well. So decided to pick those up as well. Then going for the rocket launch over here. I think this is also the first base in which I had the upgraded gunboat energy. So right now I have 88 gunboat energy instead of 80. So let's see what's going to be happening here. As you can see, the only thing that's really going to be holding me down is going to be a shock blaster. But what can it do? Decide to drop some critters to distract, but also hit that boom cannon over there. Little did I know that rocket launch actually did have some range, so that was kind of troublesome. I should have probably waited or scouted a little bit better in this particular base, but you know, it's gonna be just fine. Decide to regroup to the left side, not spending too much effort onto that boom cannon. Is gonna get wiped out regardless, and that shock launch is also kind of like taking those critters into consideration. Right now, drop some critters at that very lonely rocket launcher at the left side. I can basically focus my way up there while still getting some damage for an easy takeout. Don't have to worry too much, that is actually going to be hitting my Zucca, so that's a very nice tactic. As you guys can see in the back of the base, there's so much free room, so pretty soon you're gonna be seeing me reflaring everything to the back side, so that way we can go in for the kill on this base. Or do we? I'm not really sure actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah, there you go, there's the flare. Decide to drop it. I'm dropping it a little bit late. When I look back at this defense, I do drop it a little bit late. But that's gonna be okay, because the Zuccas are at the back of the base where the heavies can already regroup and start to take care of this massive force over here. In overall, this was a very easy base to take down. I kind of feel the base design was kind of like all over the place. It was a very nice takedown, but that being said, let's go to the next base of this episode. So this next base is of a level 59 guy, which I found pretty intimidating. I had nothing boosted up for the duration of this episode, by the way. I just want to emphasize that to you guys. I had nothing boosted up, and we actually took down this bases very nicely. I just wanted to show you guys attack strategy from Heavy Zucca, kind of what I'm focusing on. I know some of you guys may have the questions like, what should I shock, what should I drop a barrage on, what should I drop artilleries on. Essentially, whenever I see this as an ideal situation to just shock. Essentially, you can get the boom cannon, you can get the rocket launch, you can get the shock blast in one shock, and over here you can also get these three buildings in one shock. So that's kind of why I decided to go for this base. This is also a pretty nice takedown. As you guys can see, getting everything in here within a single shock. They're all pretty far distance buildings that will actually hit you pretty hard. So I'm just reshocking everything right in front of the rocket launchers, where you can shock all three of them very nicely. Rocket launcher and the shock blaster, keep getting them shocked. Right now also adding some critters to the mix, but that was kind of a mistake. I don't really... No, actually it was not a mistake, because the critters are actually doing their work perfectly fine, making sure that my heavies can just march through there. As you guys can see, a lot of critters are still alive. They actually soak up some of the mines in there as well. So actually those critters worked out very nice, but if you drop too many critters, it might work in your disadvantage, especially if there's regular mines out there. Okay, let's see what's happening here. There's a couple of mines over here at the center part. Now this takedown was pretty interesting, because this shock, I tried to hit the shock launcher, but I kind of missed there. As you guys can see, all of my heavies are gone, so I'm kind of starting to panicking at this moment. There's just one heavy at the right side, and I think that heavy over there is just enough to distract everything from me taking down this base. A very clutch takedown, but a very nice takedown against him. Level 59 base, took it down unboosted, and let's actually make our way to the final base of this episode. Okay, so this final base is the base of Andy, and take a look at this base. The base is really spread out, but the rocket launcher are still yet very centralized, alongside with a shock blaster over there as well, and he has a boosted up statue, so that might be a challenge as well. Once again, I got 88 gunboat energy at this point. I think the first 3 attacks were like 80, but from this point on I actually do have 88, and I do notice a difference in my attacking. I'm far more successful, and I feel way more confident to actually use my gunboat energy, and I can just take out just a tiny little bit of defense if I do take him out. So I took out 2 of the 3 rocket launches out there, and I still have some gunboat energy to play around it. I can still drop some medkits and maybe like a critter or so, or some shock bombs, and in overall it's a very nice way to take this one out. Take a look at this. Getting those 4 buildings over there with a single shock straight down the middle, actually a very nice thing. Then I decided to drop the flare onto the shock blaster to actually take that one out first, and then the units are just playing around. Look at them just spreading out and take out everything very easily. The heavies aren't really even suffering all that badly, so that means I can pick up a lot of free gunboat energy, and essentially that's my goal on bases like this. You want to be making sure that you utilize your heavies with minimum amount of cost. So what you guys can see over here right now, once again the same ability, I can just shock this. I don't know if I actually do. I think I'm gonna be shocking at the boom cannons at the ending there, because I see 3 of them. I want to be keeping my heavies alive. Shock launchers, I'm not really all that, you know, afraid of them. So you see me dropping that shock right there. I think that is definitely the key of this base takedown. Making sure that you shock all of the things that you really need to shock. It's very essential that you keep your heavies alive, and that way your Zucas actually go in for the kill. Don't be too overprotective with your heavies, because your heavies are just there to soak up the damage. And mine almost takes out my Zucas. I still remember myself being like, whoa, I almost lost my units, but nothing to fear. We took out this base, and that's how I've been taking out bases lately. I can basically take out a lot of the bases with the heavy Zooka attack strategy. I actually had a failure against this base. I'm gonna show you guys this one as well. Let me see. So this base, 59 gumbo percent, 59 on this one, 59 on this one, and over here I got 75. So I have nothing boosted up really, and we did fail against Homer. This was a level 60 base. I think it was just a little bit too strong, but let's go ahead and take a look at this base, what I potentially did wrong. Decided to go for the rocket launcher over here. I also kind of wanted to include a failure, but then at the ending, so that way you guys see that I do make mistakes as well. I don't only want to show you guys my good sides, because that wouldn't be all that relevant, you know. It wouldn't be give you a real simulation about how you take down bases. And one thing that I noticed about this base is that you can shock the shock launcher and the rocket launcher and the boom cannon all together at the same time. Oh, my battery is low, so we gotta make this one pretty quick. I should be fine for this episode anyway. Let's see what the units are gonna be doing over here. We're gonna speed this up 4 times the speed. As you guys can see, I'm doing exactly what I just said, shocking everything over here. But the mine placement over at this one is very much centralized, and that's a very nice tactic to go with. I was kind of afraid to go by the sides, to be straight up with you guys. I was kind of afraid to attack the left side or the right side, decide to attack from the center, and I kind of feel that the mine placement killed me here. So let's actually see how this one's gonna be going. Keeping on shocking everything, decide to shock the shock launcher and the shock blaster over there as well. The shock launcher goes out. There's still shock blast level 3 over here, and as you guys can see, my Zucas are basically toast against this shock blaster, because, well, take a look at this. This heavy goes down, and then I basically cannot do anything anymore. All of my units have been weakened very nicely. This guy has a very nice cannon placement. At the outer edges of the base. Boom cannons, very centralized. He has some rocket launchers, very centralized. So this is a very nice base. Let's again take a look at the layout right now. I cannot pause the base, but take a look at the layout. It's very nicely centralized. You see those cannons over there in the front making a very nice defense. You got some sniper towers down there. He has a boom cannon in the front and a rocket launcher as well. And it's a very threatening base. I really like this base design, and I actually sort of want to try it out. If you guys want to be trying out this base, go right ahead and tell me what you think. Tell me how it worked out for you guys, especially against the heavy Zooka. And if you guys want more strategy like heavy Zooka or something like that, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure that next week I'll make a very similar episode just like that, and maybe we'll just do some live attacks or something like that. Anyway, that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, make sure that if you guys like this video to boom, give it a thumbs up. And that being said, this has been Reversal for Boom Beach. I'm gonna be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.